Well, I'm back in the Borg bunker. You Borg podcast. Resistance is not futile. Please like, share, subscribe, and ask me any questions that you want me to find answers for in the email or down below in the comment section. I will do my best to answer your questions. I'm just a little guy in this big, huge new world of YouTubing things. So, it's building community. So if you got questions, I'm your guy to ask, and I will find your answers for you. I promise. Now, with respect to today, this morning, or actually not this morning, this afternoon, earlier today, I put out an email with respect to what might happen in the Gulf. I've got as an addendum to this. Tavi G on Blue Sky. Thank you very much, Tavi. This is the type of question that I really need in order to focus my thoughts on what people are worried about with respect to all the shit that we're dealing with right now. Your question was, what will happen to Five Eyes? And for anybody who's not in the spook world, Five Eyes is the organization of like-minded powers. It was Canada, the United States, Britain, Australia, several countries, but basically it was a tight group of like-minded countries that were absolutely sharing a lot of their human intelligence, their political intelligence, like all their estimates about what the enemy is doing or what everybody around the world is doing. It was an incredibly solid system while it lasted, in order to ensure that everybody knew what was going on in the world, even if you didn't have assets or that wasn't within your area of operations or area of control. We were sharing it all with each other, and it worked very, very well while it worked. Kind of like a NATO, but for intelligence gathering and understanding geopolitics. The question is, what will happen to these Five Eyes sharing intelligence with the United States when the United States doesn't seem trustworthy under this administration? I'm not a spook, and I'm not in the world. I have had a security clearance. I've had a top secret security clearance. So, I understand the way that the game is played. And I've been a ComSec custodian, and I would not envy anybody in the forces who has to have that responsibility, because basically it means like, hey, anything happens, you get to go to jail. So don't do that. Don't do anything bad. Nah, good advice. Thank you. Anyways, regardless, the question at hand. If the U.S. is not trustworthy, the U.S. is not trustworthy. France and Ukraine ran an operation earlier this month, I believe at the beginning of the month, where they dropped specific, like basically it's like you know how like in the movies the cops put secret markings on the bills so that they can track where the bills go, so they can see who gets what to whom. They did that with some intelligence to the United States with respect to the Ukrainian war. What they found was that, turns out, the call was coming from inside the White House. So they understand that the United States is no longer a sane partner or a safe partner to share communications with. This is the same for the rest of NATO. This is especially the same for countries like Canada and Denmark, who have been directly threatened by the United States. It's a dangerous environment, but I'm not entirely sure how we're going to get through that point. I would say that the United States is now operating in another region between sanity and stupidity. NATO realizes this, and we're starting to recoil from it. My thought is that NORAD is probably going to go away possibly by the end of this year, because there's no longer any reason for it to exist. What this means for intelligence gathering is that the United States is going to be considered a pariah state for a very long time, until they can demonstrate to their allies that they can be trusted with information again. the French and Ukrainian operation showed that within about 48 hours of the information being given to the American government, Putin was acting on the information. They set it up in such a way to ensure that they could measure if and when Putin would get the information. He did. So we know that the United States is a leaking sieve of an intelligence source. That's going to be bad down the road for everything's bad down the road for the United States at this point. That's going to be difficult down the road, and that's going to be an issue that we're going to have to manage. But to go back into the original question, what will happen to Five Eyes? Five Eyes is essentially dead. We're 4 eyes now. We'll probably get some others too, and because I absolutely think that what we're watching is a seismic shift, tectonic shift, in the way that alliance structures are being played out. United States and Israel have gone down their rabbit hole. The world is recoiling in horror from that. Assuming we have a chance and we don't get nuked and we build back better, the rump states of NATO are going to do something vastly different. Canada might do something vastly different. I mean, some people are talking about an alliance between UK, Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. I mean, that's okay. I mean, no nation is perfect. Every nation has issues and has problems and has faults. But some nations have similar interests, and that's what these alliances are based on. Your shared interest in ensuring stability in the world. When people get away from that, like the United States and Israel have, and they just do whatever you can call what they're doing is, the rest of the world has to fundamentally figure out a different path forward and a different way of meeting the challenges of the future in a balanced way. Ultimately, at the end of the day, everybody on Earth is on the same rock. We're all on the same atmosphere. So what one state does environmentally or ecologically, and yes, nuclear war is an ecological factor, absolutely. If they're threatening this, if they're doing these sorts of things, if they're causing this much chaos and disruption in the world system, those countries are no longer part of what we need as a global community in order to maintain our biosphere, in order to build away from oil, in order to ensure that people on Earth are healthy, happy, and homed. These are the basic things that Trump and everybody seems to be railing against. I mean, I consider what he said in his anti-pope message earlier this morning or last night, that deranged rant against the Pope. Like, I mean, dude, you're going to Avignon him? I mean, dear heavens. So they have completely lost the plot. So that's going to be our biggest problem. For now, though, with respect to Five Eyes, with respect to intelligence, with respect to the United States and Israel are functionally pariah states. Intelligence is not going to be going to them from other countries, except for what other countries want them to have, for whatever reasons they want, but they're no longer on the inside of that loop. So they're on their own. That is a really bad, dark place to be when you're in intelligence or military operations, because the only thing worse than fighting with allies is fighting without allies. But, everybody picks their own poison, I guess. Anyways, from the Borg Bunker, have yourselves a great afternoon. It's Monday. Let's see what the market does, and let's see if we get Taco Tuesday. Hopefully we do. And this stupid mess gets backed down, and we see some improvement tomorrow. But for now, from the bunker, have yourselves a great day. Like, share, subscribe. Ask me any questions you want about any of this stuff. I promise I will answer them. Talk to you soon.